Coming up on Michigan Replay, Michigan's road woes continue as they fall in Iowa City. We'll have the highlights. We'll also venture into the pit and meet the center of it all. And we'll look ahead to a Friday night matchup. That's right, a Friday night matchup against Minnesota. All that and more coming up next. Michigan Replay with Lloyd Carr is brought to you in part by Abso-Pure Water, delivering quality bottled water since 1908. By Fifth Third Bank, working hard to be the only bank you'll ever need. And by State Farm, providing insurance and financial services. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Michigan Replay. One of the tougher Michigan replays Lloyd Carr and I have had to do. Michigan on the road at Iowa loses 30-27, and Lloyd, I know nobody can be any more disappointed than you are in regards to having a lead early and not being able to finish.
Well, Jim, what you want to do is go into Iowa City and take the lead 14-0 and play extremely hard, which we did. But the kicking game really was the thing that haunted us. We gave up tremendous field position to Iowa. I changed our punt team during the week because of some injury situations, and that really was a decision that I think we had to make, but it was one that did not work well, and more than anything else, that's what cost us the game.
All right, let's take a look at the highlights. And early, the defense played extremely well and really stopped the run against Iowa.
Well, I think our defense, considering some of the field positions they had all day, played extremely well. Larry Stevens, who was hurt early in the first quarter, and gutted it out throughout the game. I made a great play there. We did a great job against the run. We couldn't do anything, and Garrett Rivas made an outstanding punt out of field goal formation down to pin him on the 6-yard line.
And another good play, Carl Diggs just was outstanding.
Carl had a great day, and we had quite a few plays for negative loss, and particularly in the first half were outstanding against the rush. John makes a great throw on the slant pass to Jason Avant for a first down. And,
here's a big third down conversion to Avon.
Well, we had great pass protection, and Jason made an outstanding catch to give us the ball down in there deep.
Then you go to the ground and really power this one home.
Well, we run the off-tackle play, and there's a good hole in there. We do exactly what you'd like to do in terms of mixing the run and the pass and taking the lead.
7-0 at this point. You again defensively hold them, and then you go back to work.
Well, John hits Steve Breslin here on a play that designed to put Steve on the linebacker. He got open, and John hit him. We got a big penalty here, but on 3rd and long, John makes a good throw, and Braylon, great concentration, makes a big play. Great play here. John looks off the safety and comes back to Braylon. And now we get the lead 14-0.
And that's the way you want to start on the road. And at this point, you really want your defense to kick it up, and they start to get some yardage on you.
Well, here you see that Iowa's taken over on the 50-yard line due to the fact that they had a good kickoff return, great field position for Iowa. They take it down in here, and Lamar is in great position there. And Chandler's about 260 pounds, makes a very good individual run and gets into the end zone to get Iowa back in the game.
That makes it a 14-7 game, but on your next possession, you start moving the ball.
Well, we moved the ball very, very well the entire first half. A great block there by Braylon Edwards, a cutback, good hole, and we're moving the football on the ground, and we're protecting the passer, which was the things that we worked hard at doing.
And another big play here to Jason Avant.
Well, a great throw by John again, great protection. A little bit out of bounds there, you know, but they don't get a call. And Garrett Rivas makes an outstanding kick, 47 yards into the wind, Jim. The wind was significant, particularly in the first half. That was a great kick.
And that gives you a 17-7 lead at that point. And then here's some of the tough parts about your coverage unit.
Well, you know, we had a good squib kick there into the wind, but we miss a tackle there. And back again here, great field position for Iowa. And our defense, again, is in poor field position. On a big third down play, they hit the receiver for a first down. And here on third down, Marcus Curry makes a great play against a big 6'6" receiver and forces Iowa to settle for a field goal.
And that field goal, of course, from Kading. And boy, is this guy a good kicker. Look
well,
at this.
I don't think there's any question he's the best kicker in the United States. He's really special, great kickoff man, and he very, very seldom misses a field goal.
Well, that makes it a 17-10 game. You come right back, and Avant again makes a big play.
Well, it's a great throw, great protection, and John hits the seam, and Jason forces a missed tackle, and we get great field position. We get first down inside the 10. We get stalled, and again, good field goal protection, and Garrett hits another one.
At this point, it's 20-10. And then right before the half, they get kind of momentum back.
Jim, this is one of the biggest plays of the game here. A great punt. They missed 2 blocks in the back here. This play should have been called back. And then to make it worse, we get called here for a bad call on a personal foul. And now they get the ball inside the 10, and we don't cover a seam there in the coverage, and instead of being down 20 to being up 20 to 13, we give them great momentum by allowing a touchdown there at the end of the half.
And then momentum is something I know you had to be worried about going into the locker room at half, that late touchdown.
Well, we were disappointed in our coverage. That's the thing that put our defense in poor field position the entire first half. Every drive, every scoring drive they had was a result of great field position.
All right, when we come back, we'll take a look at the second half, but first we hear from Ernest Shazor, who said part of the defensive game plan did work.
We always come in and try to stop the run. We stopped the run. We gave a few big runs in there, but for the most part, we stopped the run. That was the game plan.
Now the Les Stanford Chevrolet Locker Room Report.
First half, I believe we played amazing. Everything we've ever wanted to do in terms of this summer, everything that we prepped for, we executed. They couldn't stop us in the first half, the passing game, the running game, play action, it was all there. Second half, the third quarter, we didn't come out as strong as we did in the first half. And so we waited late. We played good late, but it's too late.
Well, there's no question offensively in the first half, Michigan was outstanding. The second half, a little bit of a different story. And you got the kickoff in the second half, and it was a great opportunity to regain momentum. And offensively, did they adjust at all, do anything?
Well, I think Iowa played very, very well in the third quarter particularly. We dropped a couple of passes here, and then on our second drive, John makes a bad throw, throws the ball behind the receiver, and they get great field position again. But our defense came up with a tremendous effort here and held them to a field goal. Here on the running game, they break one out of there and knocking on the door, but our defense stiffened, Jim.
You bet. Scott McClintock here with a sack.
Yeah, on a big third down play, just gets him the ankle and trips him up, and Kading again. But bad field position again for our defense.
And that kick ties it up at 20-20. And then on your next possession, this is, again, you go back to the kicking game. This is what kills you.
Well, we've got a protection breakdown here, and the truth is that in terms of being prepared for that rush, we just didn't have enough time in that week to get it done, and so it cost us.
It did cost you indeed, and even at that,
our defense again makes
right.
a great stop, holds them to 3, and we got plenty of time. We just got to get our offense going.
The end of the third quarter, it's still 23-20. We move into the fourth quarter now, and they put together a drive late, and they make 2 big plays on third down.
Big third down play. Chandler scrambled outside the pocket there and found an open seam. He just had too much time.
And here's a 3rd and 9 that they get the first down on. And now they're getting in Kading range. and then they get a big pass into the end zone.
Well, they made a big play here, and Jeremy LeSueur missed most of the game, and the receiver gets behind us. I don't know, the ball came out, but it was ruled a touchdown, and now we're 10 down, Jim, with 5 minutes to go, but we still got a chance.
Right, and this drive with little time left was really a thing of beauty, resilient as you came back.
Well, again, good protection. John steps up and finds Jason Avant down there, and we're in good field position. Here, John makes really an outstanding play, avoiding the rush, made a great throw, great concentration, and now we've still got time to get the job done.
Right, and you had 2 timeouts left. You used them. You got the ball back with plenty of time, and this defense really stiffened on his third
Well,
and
Pierre
short.
Woods makes a great play here, getting off the ground. He gets blocked as he goes in there. The quarterback scrambles around, and our defense came up, and we got plenty of time here.
And from your own 27, you start working and you move the ball.
Well, Carl Tabb catches a 15-yarder. We're out to the 42-yard line, and all we need is a field goal, and Jim, we have the win with us.
And then this is the 4th down play, and it just good protection, but nobody open.
Well, you know, that's when they know you got to throw late in the game. They dropped a lot of guys out of there, and we couldn't find an open guy.
Obviously, a very, very disappointing loss, but you talked about it. The kicking game, from your perspective, I mean, that's got to be an area of real focus as you move forward, don't
Well,
you?
Jim, we've had a lot of injuries in our punt team, and so certainly the coverage both in our kickoff was disappointing, and the big play that really turned the tide was that return, but just before the end of the half, we got a 20-10 lead, and the momentum shifted there, and we couldn't get it back.
Do you stay with that spread punt look, or do you go back, or I mean, are you kind of working this process as you go along?
Well, what we've got to do, Jim, is find out what our injury situation is. We've lost a number of guys in the punt team, so we've got to look at what we can do, and whatever we got to do better.
Right, and coverage on kickoffs and punts, I guess, are the 2 things that you really got to look at from a personnel standpoint, as far as making sure that you don't get that field position turnaround you had against
Yes,
Iowa.
we do.
That's where you got to work.
As well, I think we have to look at what we're doing as well as who's doing it. You know, and we got to evaluate everything we're doing and get better at it.
From an offensive and defensive standpoint, the offense not being consistent in that 3rd quarter, is that a concern?
Well, in the 3rd quarter, Jim, on our first 2 drives, we ran the ball 3 straight times for a 1st down, and then we took a sack and ended up in long yardage, ended up punting the football. The 2nd time, we threw an interception. So we made some mistakes in there. You can't have sacks and turnovers. That really negated our efforts in the 3rd quarter. We didn't run the football as effectively, and we got away from the run a little bit.
All right, when we come back, we will meet to the center from Brighton. But first we hear from Carl Diggs, who say big plays late always hurts the defense.
I mean, we played tough. We just gave up the big one at the end. That kind of hurt our team in the critical game. On crunch time, you can't do that. So, you know, we just got to learn from it and come back next week ready to go.
The hub of any offensive line is the center, and this year Michigan has a great one. Dave Pearson came to Michigan from just up the road in Brighton. He was originally a defensive lineman, but moved to center and settled right in as the starter. Pearson has the reputation of being a very smart player, but he says making the move to offense tested that intelligence.
It was a big learning curve for me. I think I know more about defensive schemes now playing offensive line than I did back when I played defense. Because when I played defensive line, I knew what my assignment was on each play, what gap I was supposed to take, but that was about it. Now I understand, you know, I need to, you know, focus on exactly what defense is doing, where all the linebackers are, and, you know, all the stunts and everything like that. So it was a big learning curve, just, you know, focusing on things like that.
Pearson leads a group that has something to prove this year. Last season, the running game wasn't up to Michigan standards, And Pearson says that affected the entire O-line's preparation for this season.
We finished down at the bottom of the Big Ten last year, and you know, that was something that, you know, I think we do have a little chip on our shoulder from that, and that's where the attitude comes from. Is you know, we don't want to let something like that happen again this year. We know for this team to be successful, we have to be able to run the ball, and it's up to us to be able to do it. You know, we have all the confidence in the world in Chris. He's going to get the job done as long as we get the job done up front. So I think that's where the attitude comes from.
As a fifth-year senior, Pearson is savoring every moment of this season. The experience has been a great one for Dave, and he'll take the memories with him for life.
5 years, there's always going to be a couple bumps, but it's been a wonderful experience. You know, you always hear when you come in as a freshman that it goes quick, and you don't believe it, but man, it does. It feels like this season's flying by, and you know, the last 3 or 4 years have gone real fast. But I've had a great time here. Playing Michigan football has just been a great experience. I wouldn't change it for anything. The bonds that you make here, I could definitely, you know, these are the best friends that I have, you know, in the world right now, and so I don't see that changing anytime soon. And you know, I'm looking forward to what the future has in store. But right now, I just, you know, I love being here with these guys and lining up next to them.
Of course, Dave Pearson in the offensive line, middle of that offensive line, and you know, after a game like Iowa, it's tough to talk about the offensive line, but Dave had come in here, and when he changed over from defense to offense, and you've even said, I've heard you said, he's smarter than you are.
Well, he's a lot smarter than I am, and he's done a great job.
And he's done a great job switching, making that move, and then that center position's integral in that middle of that offensive line to make sure everybody's on the right page.
Well, you need a smart guy, you need a tough guy, you need a competitive guy, and he's all three of those.
That's Dave Pearson, the center of the University of Michigan Wolverines. When we come back, we'll look ahead. The Wolverines face another very big test coming up at Minnesota, the battle for the Brown Jug. Before we come back and look at the highlights of them, we'll meet David Bass, who says, looking ahead at another big road test.
Yeah, Minnesota's a good team. You know, we have to be able to keep everybody, you know, up and focused. And we have to move on to Minnesota because they're going to be ready.
Well, there's no rest for the weary, and that's the case with Michigan Wolverines. They have to go on the road again, and this time a Friday night, and take on the Minnesota Golden Gophers in Minneapolis. Doesn't get any easier, does it?
No, this is an undefeated Minnesota team, Jim. Tremendous momentum, an outstanding offense, leads the nation, or is one of the leading rushing teams in the nation. Great backs. An experienced team, an experienced quarterback.
Yeah, and that's one of the things. And plus, they've got, again, you talk about different skilled players playing on the road in Minneapolis. They got some skill, and Glenn Mason has done a great job up there putting together an offense. It's got some balance.
Yes, he has, and Kalik, the quarterback, is a great athlete, guy that makes a lot of plays by improvising and creating, and has a strong arm and some very, very good receivers.
And running back, Marion Barber. It seems like they've had a Marion Barber up there. This is Marion Barber the third. Seems like they've had one there for 20 years.
Well, they had, out of Detroit, Marion Barber Sr., I think Chadsey High School is a great back at Minnesota, and his son is picking up right where he left off.
And here you are with a 6'5" wide receiver in Hosai.
Well, he's a big target, played a lot a year ago, experienced guy. And defensively, they're very, very much improved, Jim. They struggled a year ago, but all of these guys are back, and Glenn is excited about the way they're playing defense.
West, you like at linebacker, and the other guy is free safety Eli Ward, a 6'2", 215 player.
Well, he's had a couple of interceptions, and they're making one against, or a big hit against the Fighting Illini.
And Minnesota's going to be a test, and we all know about the road situation, and we all know about, you know, they're good and undefeated. You got X and O against Minnesota, but more than anything, maybe this is a week where you're going to have to rekindle this Michigan team.
Well, I think this is a great challenge for this team, Jim, because the disappointment is, you know, I don't think there's any doubt that it's a team that's extremely disappointed. But in this game and in this league, you can't feel sorry for yourself. because you got to get ready to play the next week, and that'll be the challenge that awaits us.
And will your focus this week be the kicking game, and because of the field position that cost you against Iowa?
Well, I think it will be. Wouldn't you think that would be a good suggestion?
I would think that would be a suggestion where you have to get something done better.
Yeah.
Offensively and defensively. Again, against a Minnesota team that is brimming with confidence, you've got to get your confidence back up with this team.
Well, I think the one thing that you have to do against Minnesota is you've got to possess the football. You cannot allow Minnesota to have the football because they'll wear you down. They got a big, strong, powerful offensive line. They're going to pound the ball. Kalik is going to create some plays, and your defense gets tired. So we've got a lot of work to do in the kicking game. We've got to be able to run the football more effectively. There's no question about that. We're throwing the football too many times. I like to throw the football, but I'd sure like more balance, and that's what we've got to get.
And you mentioned during the highlights, talked about the willingness. You know, you got to commit to the run sometimes,
well,
don't you,
yes,
as a coaching staff?
Yes, you do. We do. And, you know, we've got an outstanding running back. We've got a good line, and so we've got to be able to possess the football, and that means that you do have to have a will to run the football.
Now, it's going to be a very important week for the Michigan Wolverines to get ready for this Friday night contest. I'm not even going to mention the Friday night deal because who cares, right?
Who cares, Jim?
It's Friday night. You got to play them whenever they schedule them.
Whatever they say, wherever they are.
We'll be back next week, and we'll talk about it, the battle for the Little Brown Jug. The Wolverines on the road in Minneapolis. That's next week, same time, same place, right here on Michigan Replay.
Michigan Replay has been brought to you in part by The Joy of Pepsi and by Big Boy Restaurants. Big Boy makes you say, oh boy.